Next, I want to talk about Lausanne, and there are three competitions that I want to go over. The women's 100, the men's 200, and then the men's pole vault. So for the women's 100, Aleia Hobbs ended up getting the win with a time of 10.87, followed by Sharika Jackson, 10.88, Talou, 10.89, Tamari Davis, 10.94, Twanisha Terry, 11.13, Kambuji, 11.15, Natita Cito at 11.41. Now, there are two names that are not on this list that we believed were supposed to be competing. One, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce. She ended up doing a DNS. She did not start. She said that she was having some hamstring trouble and decided not to run. It wasn't worth it. And then Elaine Thompson-Herah, she got DQ'd, false start on the line. And so two of these women that we were expected to go head to head, they were all three Jamaicans were lined up right next to each other in the center of the track. Two of them aren't able to compete, and so we ended up seeing Aleia Hobbs getting the dub and the win in a very, very close race. Obviously, the top three athletes separated by 0.02 on the scale. It was very, very close. And looking at these races and where I think the next half of this season is going to go, I don't think we're going to be seeing too many fast times out of this. I mean, Aleia Hobbs gets a win, 10.87, no slouch of a time, but I'm not sure if we're going to be seeing any of these crazy fast, like 10.7s, 10.6s outside of maybe Shelly-Ann. I think Shelly-Ann could still run in the 10.6s depending on how bad this hamstring pull was or whatever this issue is. I think she could still do well. But outside of that, I think it's going to be a lot just based off of the competition. Who can beat who, rather than what the time is. And this race, while the time wasn't crazy fast, the competition was, and it looked really good. Happy for Aleia Hobbs to get the W there, and so interested to see how that's going to continue into the Diamond League final. Diamond League final is still very close, looking to be in, Zurich? So there's one more Diamond League meet next in Brussels, and then we're going to be heading on over to the finals. On the men's side of the 200, so Noah Lyles ended up getting the win with a 10.56. Michael Norman second with a 19.56. Michael Norman second with a 19.76. Jareem Richards third, 19.79. Alexander Agandu, 20.09. Andrew Hudson, 20.09. Arian Knighton, 20.13. Joseph Famboulé, 20.33. And Charles Dobson, 20.34. And so this was a very close race in between Noah Lyles and Michael Norman. For a long time, it looked like Michael Norman might end up catching him. He came off the curve looking good, but Noah Lyles was able to hold him off through the second half of the race and end up getting the win, extending his winning streak another meet. And so this is making me think, I'd like to see Michael Norman running in a lot more 200s here, because I think he has some real talent. And look, World Championships, he should be doing it. I don't know why he's just focusing in on this 4. Let's extend this to the 200, because I mean, he came up really close on the 200-meter champion, and it looks like if he gets a little bit more of the speed training, focuses a little bit more on the 200, I see no reason why he couldn't challenge Noah Lyles and he couldn't challenge Kenny Bednarek and all these other guys at the 200-meter race, because this was very, very close for him, and I would love to see him competing in it a little bit more. Now, Arian Knighton, he dropped down a little bit, and so I think what we're seeing with Arian Knighton and Joe Famboulé, the season's just really, really long. These guys have been, Arian Knighton, he's still 18 years old. We have to keep that in mind. So, where were you at 18? Would you be able to do all these competitions? Yes, you're a professional, but I think it just kind of weighs on you a little bit. Joe, he's been racing since, December, January. He's had a very, very long season, and so I'm not looking too much into those races. They'll be back. They'll be looking good. Jareem Richards, though, he's solid with his 1995. Overall, solid performances for them. Just like I said with the women, I don't think we're going to be seeing many crazy times dropping after this. I think it's going to be more of a focus when it comes to, okay, who's going to win the competition? Who's going to come out on top, rather than who's going to run a 19.3, who's going to run a 19.2. I think we'll get fast times. 19.56, no slouch of a time. If this happened in the beginning of the year, we'd be like, oh man, we're due for something crazy, because that would have been Noah Lyles' second fastest time ever in the beginning of this season. But just seeing off of the fact of, you know, we've reset the bar, everything's been recalculated. I don't know if we're gonna see one of those crazy times, but I think we can still see some really good things throughout the year. On the men's pole vault, Mondo Duplantis wins with a 10.10. This was his 53rd time over 6 meters. So he ran 6.1, jumped 6.1 for the 53rd time. And what I want to talk about here, less just Mondo's complete and utter dominance over the pole vault, because actually over the past, since pole vaulting began, there have been 95 athletes that have jumped 6 meters or higher. And Mondo has accounted for 24%, nearly 25% of every single jump outdoors over 6 meters. That's insane. This guy is just on another level, and he's only been doing that for 5 years, compared to when you look at Sergey Bubka, who jumped for 20 years. He had been pole vaulting for 20 years, and he had it 29% of the time. So this guy, Mondo, he's got a really bright future ahead of him. But what I want to talk about more is the fact that the atmosphere for this meet was amazing. There were fans right up near it. There was music, there was lights, it was a great environment. It was outside, really cramped and an exciting place to pole vault. And that's what I think pole vaulting needs. I don't think pole vaulting needs track and field the way that many other events do. I think pole vaulting can be a standalone sport that is just as exciting, if not more, than other competitions, because you can put it in unique situations that have people right up on the pit with music blaring and everything. Like, that's what makes pole vaulting great, because you're having this awesome environment versus when you go and put it in a track, like everybody's sitting far behind and you're watching other events, you're not seeing everything go down. Where when you have a street vault or a beach vault competition, or you put it in a mall or whatever it might be, you have people that are right next to it, and it's an intimate environment and it's exciting. And we see really great jumps coming out of it, and you're able to really utilize that personality. And so I'm hoping that we just see more of those, as pole vaulting should realize, hey, look, we don't need to be competing just like everything else here. And I like that they put this the day before of Lausanne. So it was the day before, it was outside, it wasn't in the track. I think this is a good idea. We're seeing a similar thing at Brussels when it comes to the shot put. They're putting the shot put the day before. It'll probably be in a street environment like this, where you can have more people closer to the event. And I think that's the way to go when it comes to track and field and when it comes to these field events, because doing all of this